Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's race at Silverstone, the final round for Half-Fast Gaming's Triple Crown Series. I think it's going to be a fun one today after an exciting rainy race at Monza last week. I'm anxious to see what's going to happen today. I'm Josh, and I am with our other host, Jeff, who is the man behind the plan as far as broadcasting these goes. So with no further ado, here's Jeff.
Hey Josh, thanks for the introduction, and welcome everyone to the final round, as Josh was saying, for the Transatlantic Triple Crown. This is going to be a fantastic finale to this series. Unfortunate that I didn't get to continue, but I'm really enjoying broadcasting with Josh on these, so hopefully we're in for a good race. And we'll kind of just let the practice breathe for a few minutes and add our input as we see fit. I'm going to go around the grid here and show you a couple cars that are racing currently. But yeah, I'm excited to see how this one turns out. And we're back. Had a little technical issue I had to deal with. But we are back. We have about 1:30 left in our practice session for the 75-minute race. For those of you in the chat, thanks for joining us.
I think this is going to be a good one, Jeff.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be real good. Excited for it. Silverstone being a very technical course, there's a lot of back and forths here. So you have the opening section of track includes the Maggot-Beckett's complex, which is basically a right-left combination onto the back straight, which you really want to get a great run out of there to set yourself up for the top speed on that back straight. If you're not doing that, you may be in trouble.
Absolutely, and you can see there's some really good straights on here, but it is highly technical, and at least today it's not pouring rain, so
yes, that's usually a welcome thing, is to see, even though it is night, which can offer some challenges. It's definitely not raining, which is always a good thing.
Sure.
And we'll watch David come across the line here for the last time, and then we'll be moving on to the race.
Woo-hoo.
And we got a couple of folks that haven't shown up, so it may adjust the grid a little bit. So we'll go through it as we get started. I'll run through the grid for everybody. And there we are, the very abrupt throwing of cars onto the grid. All right. So let's move to here. Do this. All right, so in first, starting from pole, is Jus Leun, followed closely by Louis Arjitsu, and then an empty spot as Zach Gross has not made it here. Then we have Steve Endres, Luke Garr, followed by Kurt Bradbury, Drew Matthews, David Holbert, Darren Bradbury, Chris Springbuck Davies, Cross, Hall, Curto, Cooper, Sartana, and finally, Harry Bellers. Now, what the drivers are doing is they have 75 minutes to come to grips with the temperature of the track, how much they're going to need to put pressures allocated in their tires, Remember, in this series, you have to make a pit stop, so you have to go up and down on the jacks, but you do not have to change tires or refuel. So there are a couple of different strategies that have been employed over the season.
And I'm sure we will see a few of them play out today. Last week's leader, Indres, he didn't pit until really close to the end, and but he was already well out ahead, so it didn't seem to affect him too much. I'm curious what everyone's going to do today.
Yeah, this is a shorter pit
30 seconds.
length than Monza in the rain, surprisingly.
20 seconds.
And now we're going to see the folks turn on some lights here and get going. Thank you, Mr. Leun, for the flashing.
10 seconds.
Now, this week, Leun and Arjitsu were very close in qualifying, and I can get you those numbers here. Much closer than previous. So we're looking at a tenth of a second between them. Granted, that's over a one lap span, but either way.
Right, very close.
Very close comparatively.
And Arjitsu had a good bit of a lead last week, but then he had car troubles, and I believe that was Arjitsu, correct?
Yes, we did. I actually did talk to him after the race. It happened that since he's used to driving other cars so much, namely the McLaren 720S, which is a GT3 car, he downshifted too early and blew his engine up.
Ooh. Yeah, well, let's hope that doesn't happen today.
No, let's keep it under the rev limiter today. So right now the drivers are warming their tires, warming their brakes. They're doing this exploratory lap here to get prepared for green. All right, we'll turn that music off. We'll pump up the game audio a little bit here so we can get started. Now we're going to stick with Joost for the first portion of the track here. But I think the real battle is going to be in the midfield here with the Super Trofeos. Being that there's only 2 Porsche Cups, it's probably going to be, maybe here and there we'll check in on them, but I think the Super Trofeos and the GT4s are really going to be pressuring each other quite a lot during this race, so we'll probably be concentrating on them.
Absolutely. We do expect to see some action today.
All right, they're coming to the slowest section on the track here. There's a hairpin, and then they'll be moving on to the third sector of the track, which is a fast left followed by a straight, and 3 more corners until the finish line. So they're going to be lining up in left and right currently, as was on the grid. There's going to be some adjustments because of the cars that were out of place. I'm going to get ready to clear any penalties for being out of place, because that has happened.
Yes.
So we will do that as necessary. And here they are set up in their left and right sections.
Yep.
Move to TV2 here, and we'll see the start momentarily. Here we are.
And here we go.
Green light.
Green light.
Go, go, go.
Corner 1 is going to be crucial here. Leon had the inside there, so he maintains that lead. Super Trofeo stayed in behind. We got Steve and Luke nose to tail.
Ooh.
Oh, Leon's got a little
Leon's on
hot.
track. Yep. Oh. Spun out in the corner.
He's back on board. Now he's got to pick his way back through the field. All right, let's see how our Jitsu is going to handle this. All right, we got Arjitsu, Endres, and Gar pretty close together with Bradbury right behind.
Yep. Jitsu handle those corners pretty well.
He's keeping it on the black stuff today.
That's all you can ask for.
That's it. All right, it looks like Endres has pulled a little bit of a lead on the other Super Trofeos. We're going to check in with Bradbury and see how that's working out. He's right up alongside Gar currently. Ooh, this is a real tight pack. Oh, he's gone off.
Yes.
He's going to have to work his way back up. Now Davies is right on Gar. Now Davies did not qualify well. He was in the server, but he did not put in a valid lap, so he was at the back of the pack, and that seems to have worked out for him today.
It does. Yeah, and you got Davies there, and you got Matthews right on his tail. Bradbury and Hulbert also not too far behind.
Really looks great at night, I tell you what.
It does.
It looks like Arjitsu has fallen behind. I thought I heard a Cup car engine. Oh no. He is well back in 12th currently. Following in the shoes of Leon on the first lap. Leon's back up to 7th. He's kind of pulling up the back of that whole pack that's clustered there, but with Cross not too far behind as well. Maybe still in hot pursuit of Gar.
especially on the corners.
All right, let's go to the wing of Gar here and see how he's doing. Managing Maggots and Beckett's pretty well, but Davies is still there.
Sure.
He's going to be catching that draft down the straight here.
Yep.
Let's see if he can get his braking point just right. Really protesting those tires right now.
Yep.
Davies is analyzing, trying to figure out where he can make his move.
For sure. Maybe.
He's not making it easy for him, that's for sure.
That is for sure. Both handling, well, of course, speak up. Yeah, they're both handling these turns really well. It's just a matter if he can get an advantage.
Oh, Chris is looking. Oh. Very close. All the while, Endres is sneaking away up front.
Has a tendency to do that, it seems.
All right, let's check in with Davies, because Matthews is right behind him. Oh, Matthews has gone off. Oh no.
Yeah, some spin out right there.
That's a very difficult complex to master.
Absolutely. Because the corners are tight, but the straightaways are fairly long, so it kind of lulls you into a false sense of security.
That's true. Davey's still working on Gar. We're going to stay on this for a little bit longer here and see what's happening. Looks like both Gar and Davies are up on their best lap times currently. Oh, Davies has gone off track. I wonder if he's incurred a warning from that.
Yeah, I wonder. Redberry and Leone right behind them, racing pretty tight as well.
Chris is going for the inside. Good defense by Gar.
Oh, here we go.
He's going by. Let's see if we got him. Chris is pulled in front on the front straight. Let's see if he can manage to pull away. That's usually the hard part.
That usually is.
And it looks like he's already got a gap on him currently.
Does, yeah, seems to be doing so right now, so.
Oh, getting a little squirrely there. And Gar had to upset his line to not mash into the back of him there. All right, we're going to go back outside.
Are still hot on his tracks. A little bit of separation, but they kind of keep rubber banding. Well, you now is right up on Gar as well.
Yeah, even though they're a different class, it is still for position, so Gar does not have to yield to him. Alright, looks like they're spreading out a little bit. Let's go down to Matthews and see how he's working out after his spin.
Like he has a little bit of space to work with at the moment.
Yeah, he's got 2.8 seconds behind, and he's 1.6 behind Bradbury. Let's go back to the GT4s and see how they're working out. It looks like Cross has an incredible gap to Hall currently. And right behind Hall is Curto. Followed by Cooper. And Sartana and Bellers are neck and neck at the back of the field. Darren Bradbury has dropped to last currently, though he is catching up now to Bellers and Sartana. Alright, Yost is now in third, right behind Davies. Arjitsu still currently in 8th, though running the fastest lap of the race at a 2:05.835, which is nearly an entire second faster than Lejeune in current conditions.
Lejeune's about to pass Davies right now.
That he is. They're neck and neck going into the final corner, or the final complex.
And pulled out ahead a bit.
Oh, Chris goes a little squirrely there. Manages to hang on, though. Keeps it on the track. Now Leon's got to chase down Endres, who is 3.3 seconds ahead of Leon currently. Now let's go to this Gar, Bradbury, Matthews battle here. They're all about within a second or two of each other. Well, for that matter, Davies, Gar, Bradbury, and Matthews are all within 4 seconds of each other.
Sure.
So quite a battle
It's
there.
Very, very tight today. And I can see from Matthews' point of view that he's got Bradbury and Gar in his sights, and you can just catch up to him. Be the chance.
Now let's check in with Matthews. He's currently pretty close to, is the closest he's been, 0.8 seconds behind Kurt Bradbury. And of course, this whole while they're all thinking about how much, ooh, he had a little off in front, Bradbury did, so Matthews is trying to capitalize.
He's right on his heels.
Takes a nice wide corner. He's trying to get the most speed possible through this corner. See if he can make anything come of it. Oh, has a little off track there, trying to take it a little too wide.
Still right on his rear
Right
end.
there. Oh, my goodness. Great battle from these guys here.
Sure.
Leon has now taken the best time, 2:05.540, though, so 3/10 faster than Arjitsu. We have 60 minutes left, so only 15 minutes have gone by.
We've already seen some great racing.
No question about that. No question.
Still packed in a little tightly toward the front, but racers have spread out a little bit since we first started. Oh, here comes Drew on Bradbury's heels again.
And he's got Arjitsu for company right behind now that he's cut back up.
By going off track a little. Had a moment there, but then you had to come back in for the turn.
I know it's early in the race now, but oh,
Ooh, got a little
he
swirly.
caught it. He caught it. He managed it. Now, little things like that, like I was saying, it's early in the race, but you were always thinking about that in the back of your mind. How much tire am I going to use?
Oh,
Arjitsu's gone off track there. How much tire am I going to use? Am I going to use too much fuel trying to chase this guy down? Am I going to actually have to get fuel at the stop?
Right.
And so these are all things that are going through your mind this whole time, just trying to manage your own race. So
for sure.
Lots of things going through the noggin right now.
More to it than just be the fastest.
That's
gotta
it.
Be the most strategic.
Leon has claimed first position. Now, we were saying last race about how it was so rainy. It was really, really wet. Very, very harsh conditions out there, and that would come to the Super Trofeos because of their availability of traction control. But as you can see in this race, not quite the same. Being that it's a dry track, the tires are up to temperature. Those Cup cars can still put the power down pretty well.
Absolutely.
Drew still has Arjitsu for company, 2/10 behind. Davies has skipped away from Gar. Gar has a 4-second. He's 4 seconds behind him currently. Now, because this is much more of an open track, like Monza was, there'll be opportunity to pass as we come around with blue flag racing later on. Looks like Drew's really doing some damage to his tires here.
Does.
And Bradbury and Arjitsu are right on the tail of Gar, who's certainly feeling the pressure at this point.
Looks like Arjitsu's about to pass. Looks like he made it.
Yes, he has. Let's ride along with him currently as he's making his way through the pack.
I was able to pull ahead a little bit, but he might get caught on this turn.
Alright, we're in car right now with Arjitsu. He'll be looking to get ahead of Gar and then catch Davies so he can get back up to the front. All while trying not to do too much damage to his tires. And it looks like Gar is putting a good lap together here. He's 4/10 up on his previous best, which is important when you got a real fast car behind you.
Sure.
Alright, let's go back to TV cam on Mr. Arjitsu here, who looks like he's going to pull ahead of Gar here pretty shortly. So let's go see what's going on with the GT4s. Currently, Cross is ahead of Hall, but has lost about a second. Hall seems to be doing the damage here, and he's catching back up. He's dropped Curto by 4 seconds since the last time I looked, which was probably about 10 minutes ago. So Hall is putting in the work right now.
Yes. You hit that corner a little hard, but it's still doing good.
Now, what Hall can do with this car is pretty impressive, considering that the Porsche 718, which is the one that Cross is using, is the fastest GT4 across all tracks, generally speaking. The BMW is hovers around third and fourth, so he's really doing the business and has for the series, keeping that thing at the front. And he's really put the time in behind the scenes and practicing with the car and making sure that he's on top of it. And that's when you are constantly practicing with one car and driving with one car, you really get to learn its nuance, and you can really put it through its paces when required.
For sure, and it gives you a better ability to race that car with a bit of finesse.
Exactly, you can't just brute force it.
Right.
Looks like folks' tires are kind of wearing down a bit. There aren't too many doing better laps than previous. Some of them are well over half a second slower than the previous lap. So they probably are feeling the heat, as it were, even though it's not hot.
Most definitely.
And that's another thing to think about, since this race has started at 10 p.m. And it has a multiplier, which means it goes faster. I think it's the time is 3 times faster, so it's going to only get colder and colder over the time of the race, which means the tires are going to get colder, which means you're not going to go as fast. Additionally, when you do your pit stop, the tires, if you don't change tires, they're going to be extraordinarily cold compared to when you started. So it's going to take quite a lot longer for them to get back up to temperature.
Sure.
All right, Matthews is back on the back of Bradbury. So we're going to change over to him and see what's going on there.
Yeah, and the view from his hood, he definitely has him in his sights, so...
Just got to concentrate and hit all your lines just right so you're not making the mistakes. Let's see if he can get it done. All right, where he's at right now is an excellent complex to get passing done. Let's see if he can... Ooh, he's hit the inside curb a bit there. But he's maintained composure. Davies is taking an early pit stop with 47 minutes left. So he's going to try to undercut. What that means is he's planning on staying out longer the second stint, which may come to his advantage because, as we were just talking about earlier, when it gets colder later, if he doesn't change his tires and he just goes in and pops up and down on the jacks, he's going to be able to get his tires warmer again quicker right now than if he does it later when it's maybe 13 or 12 degrees Celsius, because it's going to be even colder. So he might be onto something here if he's going to maintain a reasonable pace throughout the rest of the race. Like I said, it's going to take him less time. Yes, and he's already out of the pits. So it looks like he's done what I suspected, in that he's changed tires, because Holbert went in behind him and came out directly behind him without losing any positions. So I think Davies has changed tires, upped his pressures so that he can compensate for the later temperature change. So this may come to his advantage.
Absolutely, it could be a viable strategy, and we'll see how it plays out.
And it seems like Gar, Bradbury, and Matthews, it's going to take quite a Herculean effort to get them to stop following each other here, because there hasn't been any movement, and they're pretty much within a second of each other the whole time.
They've been at it for a while now. Gar seems to have a bit of a bigger gap on Bradbury than Bradbury does on Matthews.
That's true.
But it's still not much. Matthews comes out. Looks like he might be attempting to pass.
Let's see if he can get his breaking point. Oh, no.
Yeah.
A little too wide there.
So close.
He's trying to do the under-over, maybe?
In.
Gonna force him to the inside. What a good bunch of racing right there.
Yeah, they're fighting it out right now, and he's still going for it.
A lot of their fighting is causing Gar to skip away. He's now got a 2.6 second gap, when previously it was usually under a second. So we'll see if Matthews can hang on to the back of Bradbury here for a little bit longer.
Oh, it looks like he's making a move. Still trying.
He's going to try to get on the inside at the end here. Oh, Bradbury holds him up just enough. This is a great battle here.
It is. They've been duking it out.
And he's done it.
He has.
Only just.
Just. So now Bradbury gets to be like, see how this feels? Huh?
Oof. That was close. He mashed that curb pretty good. Got a little squirrely, but he's back on track. Let's see if he can stay ahead of Bradbury now. He's got to get his head down, hit all his braking markers. Stay out of trouble. All right, let's see. He's back on it. He's got almost a second gap to Bradbury now. See if he can keep it together and get back on the attack.
Like he's pulling out pretty good now. He's still got Bradbury back there, but does have a little bit of a gap on him.
He can take a couple breaths now.
Yeah.
All right, so
saying, look out, Gar, I'm coming for you.
I was just going to say that. All right, we're going to skip down here. Go back to Hall. Hall is now about even where he was before. So he's still about 5 seconds back. Curto is 23 seconds back. Curious if he's made a sort of pit stop. I didn't notice. or if he's just fallen behind a bit. Got Bradbury 30 seconds behind Curto. Cooper is 6 seconds behind Bradbury. And then we have our lapped cars coming up soon. I'd imagine, actually, that Leon would be coming up to some lap traffic shortly. Yes, I can hear some lap traffic close by on the back straight, one of the back straights in the third sector. So he'll be coming up to some GT4s pretty soon. So that is 35 minutes into this race, a little over 35 minutes into this race. He's caught up with the back of the pack after spinning on lap 1. So not too bad from Leon here.
Not at all. Which, from what little I have watched of this series, I mean, he is usually consistently out front, in the podium area, if you will.
Yep, he's usually right on top of it for sure.
But it's a good recovery from that spin out at the beginning.
So the question was whether Davy's decision to come in early was going to work. Well, I can tell you he's already in, let's see, 8 minutes, he's gained 5 seconds on Bradbury. So
it seems to be working.
It seems to be working. As long as he can maintain and see what Bradbury does at the end, he doesn't really have to make up too much time overall if Bradbury has to take tires. Of course, you don't have to, but he may decide that he has to, so we'll see.
Right. And with all the battling that's been going on in this part of the pack throughout most of the race, I mean, it could be a possibility that he does feel the need to take on tires.
Exactly. And here's Leon catching up with the blue flag traffic. He's first called. Let's try that again. He's first caught Harry Bellars, who's most likely going to stay out of his way here on the back straight.
He caught him right at the halfway point of the race.
Yeah. Pretty good. And by he goes.
Yep. He has now officially lapped somebody.
And officially gone off the track trying to do it.
Yes.
Bellars is spun behind him as well.
I think I saw somebody throwing banana peels out there earlier. So
I thought it was a shell, but I could have been wrong.
Yeah. Shit. That's perfect.
All right, he's made it by Sartana, so he is lapped his second contender. Cooper would be next, but he's a whole minute and 20 seconds ahead, so he's going to be by himself for quite a while at this point. So let's go back up to Mr. Gar and friends.
Let's see how they're doing.
He's caught up to Curto into the Maggots and Beckett's complex. And
Like our Jitsu just passed Inderez for second place.
That's why my thingamajigger was going all crazy here. Okay. All right. There goes Gar. Let's switch our camera here.
Brew Matthews right on his heels. Then with, you guessed it, Bradbury and Davies not far behind them.
Right. All right, Ian Hall's in the pits. Is he going to change tires is the question. Haha.
We'll see.
If it's any longer than the 30-second pit stop, we'll know that it's...
Looks like he's out. So
Okay, so he just went up and down. That was it. All right.
Yep.
And now Curto is right behind him. Oh no, I take it back. Take it back. He's still 34 seconds behind. Okay, so Curto must have done a full pit stop with tires because he was not that far behind Hall initially. Oh, Matthews is in the pits. Let's check on him. See if he goes up and down or if he changes tires. I'm very curious.
Me too. I'm watching him roll in right now. Like he just went up and down.
Just an up and down. And Davies is going to be right behind him. So I'm curious how this is going to work out for Davies because he dropped nearly 5 positions to do that pit stop because he started in 10th. And he's up to 7th. So if he'll be able to get back up to 5th, then it will be worth it in the end.
Most definitely. A little squirrely on that turn for Matthews.
Yeah, his tires are probably still cold from being through the... I mean, they don't get too cold, but they drop enough temperature, especially when it's this cold, that it's going to take a couple laps to get them back up to where they feel right.
Definitely. Yeah, it certainly makes a difference.
And considering Davies is now behind with tires that have been rolling for 15 minutes, they're hot and ready to go.
Sure, and you can kind of see that he's not right up on him yet, but you keep seeing little glimpses of Davies kind of coming up behind Matthews. Matthews doing a pretty good job of trying to stay ahead and get back to his battle he was fighting earlier, I imagine. Ayun is way out ahead of Arjitsu Indurez in first place at the moment.
Yeah, he's definitely been doing qualifying laps here. Though Arjitsu's not really leaving Endres too quickly. He's stayed within 3 seconds of him for quite a while now.
He has.
Remember, these top 3 still have to do their quote-unquote pit stop as well, so...
Whoa.
He spun.
And Arjitsu
He's out.
just spun,
Oh. That was the final corner? Yes, it was.
Yes.
So now, contrary to Matthews, our Jitsu's tires are very hot because they were just on fire coming out of that corner. All right, looks like Matthews has managed the pressure. He's pushed Davies back down to about 3 seconds behind. He was almost 2 seconds behind earlier, so Matthews' tires are back up to snuff here.
Looks like he's gaining ground. Currently attempting to lap Cooper at the moment.
And he's gotten it done.
And he has.
Again,
now he's on the
Davies
hunt
not too
for
far.
Bradbury, I imagine.
We had a yellow flag there briefly. I don't know who that was for.
Gar and Bradbury are now in third and fourth ahead of our Jitsu. Over there and see what they're up to.
All right, the closest battle we have right now is actually the Matthews-Davies. Our Jitsu's hit the pits. Let's go to the helicam on Matthews and see how that gap looks. He's not in the helicam view, so he still gets some distance back to Davies, so that's going to be giving him some resolve here. Though he's got to make those corners if he wants to
Sure.
keep it on the up and up here. Looks like our Jitsu is going to get a stop and go 30 for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh. Careless mistake that can definitely cost him some time, so. Or did cost him some time. So.
Yes, unfortunately. Matthews has moved up into 5th currently, with Davies for company 2 seconds back. And hello to Ali. And Crizzy, I just checked the chat. Sorry for not seeing you earlier. Well, he's within Bradbury's pit window, because the pit's about 28 to 32 seconds, depending on how quick you can hit your marks. So currently, if Bradbury pits, he's going to be inside that window, so he'll pass him kind of automatically at this point. All he has to do is maintain this current pace. All the while keeping Davies behind, of course.
Of course, which may be no small feat.
For sure,
how it
Davies
goes.
has been pretty consistent today, so...
He has.
We got 25 minutes left. I'm going to go over the current grid order and move off of helicopter view because it's loud. This is We have Leon in a commanding lead over Andres, Gar, Bradbury, Matthews, Davies, Arjitsu, Hulbert, Cross, Hall, Curto, Cooper, Darren Bradbury, Sartana, and Bellars. Now, Arjitsu still has to serve his stop-and-go 30, so Hulbert is probably going to pass him, and maybe even Cross, depending on how far back Cross is, because that's going to be 30 seconds of pit lane plus 30 seconds, so you're going to be 60-something seconds stationary, or not stationary, but in the pit lane, so there's quite a bit of time there that's going to need to be allocated for the other drivers.
A full minute of not racing.
Yep.
So,
and Leon has jumped into the pits. I'm going to guess he's going to try to do an up and down.
I would imagine so.
Though realistically, even with tires, I think that he would probably be able to get back in front with 23 minutes left.
Yeah.
But
And
we'll
Hulbert
see.
is now officially in front of Arjitsu.
Yes, and Arjitsu has left the pits with no additional penalties, thankfully for him.
See if he can start playing catch up a little here.
So he's in a wasteland of nothing around right now. He's got 23 seconds ahead of him and 24 seconds behind him. And he was passed by Cross, actually, so Cross has moved up to 8th. No, Cross has not had his... Oh, his SG30 did not clear.
But it did not.
Oh boy.
Gonna be real interesting.
For those of you in the chat joining us today, we appreciate you watching. Thanks for checking out the channel as well. We're to the finale of this series. We're going to be doing more Sunday series coming up soon, so stay tuned for those.
And I've been new to broadcasting with this Sunday series, but it's been very enjoyable, and this has been a fun race so far.
Yeah, and I appreciate you joining me. It's fun to have somebody to go off of a little bit and not just be by yourself.
Absolutely.
All right, we have Matthews coming up to Curto now. Get that done as smooth as you like. Looks like he's got a couple of lap cars to deal with before he can make any more headway against Bradbury's stop. And Arjitsu's going to attempt to do another stop.
Got to clear that 30.
There's quite a lot going on in the background there. That is Davies now taking over, or trying to overtake, excuse me, the other blue flag cars that Matthews just dispatched.
He still has Matthews in his targets a little bit, and
He's moved past Sartana now, so Davies will be looking to do the same shortly. He lost quite a bit of time being behind Sartana in that corner, so hopefully he can regain that gap again.
looks like he's trying to widen that gap a little here on the straight. We're going into the turn.
Now Matthews is catching Bradbury again. He's another almost 2 seconds up since the last time I checked. I'm curious when Bradbury's going to come in for his pit. He's got under 20 minutes to do so.
I'm sure Matthews is very curious as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like our Jitsu still has that 30 on him.
Yep.
A little under 19 minutes left in this race. It's amazing how fast 75 minutes goes.
Exactly. Bradbury, Kurt Bradbury, Endress, Gar, and Cross still have to pit. All right, let's go. Back to the racing.
Jitsu finally got his penalty removed.
Now Drew has clear track ahead of him with Davies behind, so hopefully he can concentrate on those lines and braking markers and maintain that gap.
So. And Bradbury in front of him still has a fairly considerable gap between him and Matthews.
It's true, he still has to take his 30-second stop. He's even close to being within Gar's stop as well. So it might be a last few laps battle here, which I know
Definitely.
we won't be upset about.
Absolutely not. Everybody loves a good buzzer beater, right?
That's it.
Wait, wrong sport.
Right.
So might come to free throws. Dang, did it again.
I've done it all over again. It looks like Sartana and Bellers are also close to each other. We're going to watch them for a minute. They've also got the one of the leading cup cars of Arjitsu behind. Now, Arjitsu's a bit behind currently, but he's still dealing with the blue flag car of Sartana and Bellers, so he's going to be looking to create a passage around them as quickly as possible.
Or get out there and get a little more open track and make up some time.
They're going neck and neck. It looks like Bellers is just moved ahead of Sartana there. Great little battle going on at the back of the pack. All right, we're going to zip back over to Matthews and Davies. Now, Matthews has made up 8 seconds on Bradbury since taking a stop. So he is well within striking distance of Gar for third place at this particular occasion. Unfortunately, Davies is right behind him and also doing some pretty significant laps, and the trouble is he's keeping Drew honest, so Drew's going to have to, really be paying attention to ahead of him instead of looking in his mirrors, which is hard to do, as I know from doing this for quite a bit of time, is you're constantly looking at delta times of who's behind you and how much they're catching and all these things, but it's hard to just pay attention to what's in front of you and what you need to do.
And Davies is sticking to him right now pretty well, so no relief in sight. Doesn't look like there will be for a minute, so
yeah, he made a slight mistake there, and he's down a half a second already.
sparks flying.
The other trick is that we talked about how Davies was stopping early and swapped tires, so he still has fresher tires than Drew, even though he's been driving on them for 40 minutes at this point, because Drew's are 60 minutes old.
Yeah, he just went up and down, so
Yep.
they could be struggling a bit now with only 11 and a half minutes left in the race.
Yep. And I hear some lap traffic ahead of Drew, so hopefully that helps him rather than hurts him, but we'll see. Oh, it's quite a ways up the road, so I think they should be free to race currently. And Davies is within a second now.
It is neck and neck.
It's getting juicy here. Alright, he's got to nail this exit here,
Yeah.
so we can stay ahead on the straight.
And there for a second, Davies is looking to strike.
Alright, he's pushed it back up to a second, so he's can take a short breath.
And then Davies is right back on his tail again. Sartana and Bellers are still battling it out pretty good in the back as well.
Alright, let's check on them real quick. We also got Hall is red on Curto. We're going to check in with them right now. Oh, that was odd. That was a lot longer ago than it seemed. I was not updated quickly enough. Okay. Let's see. It looks like Endres has gone to the pit. He is now 8.5 seconds ahead of Matthews. So we're waiting for Bradbury to pit, as he is under 20 seconds in front of Matthews. Gotta see who's gonna jump into the pit first. That's the end of the game here. And who's gonna hit their markers in the pits.
Keeps going the way it's going. He'll also be passed by Davies as well, because, I mean, as we've been seeing, him and Matthews have been neck and neck the whole time. So.
Right. Looks like Matthews has pulled out just a little bit more of a gap. He eked it up to 1.5 seconds. It's going to be quite an ending to this race right now, because there is a lot going on here.
There it is.
Because we've got Bradbury and Gar, who still have to go up and down at the very least, and they are... It looks like Endres has made a mistake, and Matthews is right on top of him now.
He is right upon him.
And after all that, you still have Bradbury and Gar having to pit, which is going to leave them vulnerable to all of these vehicles currently that are in our screen.
There's a split second where it looked like he might have pulled ahead of Endres in one of those turns, a couple turns back, but then Endres was able to keep him back. But he's still hot on him.
There is under 2 seconds covering those three cars right now.
Matthews and Endres getting mixed up in traffic a little bit with Hall. He's past Hall.
That gave him a little breather from Davies.
Definitely.
But he's right on the back of Endres now. We've dropped to 13 degrees Celsius, so it went from 15 to start this race to 13. It's now 11:30 p.m. Yeah, it is. Under 5 minutes remaining.
What we tune in for, folks.
That is for sure. Now, Cross is handily ahead in 8th over Hall. It's also not helped Hall because he's just been passed by all these three cars right now. Now, the other thing is now he knows Matthews knows that Endres is in front of him, and he's right there. but he's still got to concentrate on doing all things right and not just trying to get by him, right?
Right.
And because as soon as you make a mistake, now Davies is all over you. So it's a really hard place to be in, is right in the middle. I'd almost want to be in the back right now.
Right. It's a lot to balance, a lot to consider.
Yep. All right, Gar has hit the pits. Bradbury pitted, so Bradbury came out in 6th. So it's going to be currently, after the pit, Lejeune, Enderez, Matthews, Davies, Bradbury. So Gar's going to come out after Davies currently. And he does.
Yeah, he does. We'll now see if Bradbury can catch up and make up for the pit time.
Looks like Enderez is really suffering on those old tires now. And Drew has kept him in the window. And like I was saying earlier about making it harder to get the tires back up to temperature when you stop later and it's really cold, I think this has come to hurt Enderez in the end.
Absolutely, because both Matthews and definitely Davies, their tires, they're warmed up. They're rolling. And they're still fairly fresh. Matthews' tires don't seem as chewed up as they could be, considering he just went up and down. But
right. Under 2 minutes. Under 2 minutes. We have Lejeune, Endres, Matthews, Davies, Gar, Bradbury, Hulbert, Cross, Hall, Arjitsu, Curto, Cooper, Bradbury, Bellers, Sartana. Sartana has a drive-through for speeding at the pit lane or track extension, maybe.
I'll find out later what happened.
Looks like Enderez has gotten his tires back up to performance mode.
I was about to say, and Matthews is still hot on his tail, but it looks like Enderez has gotten a little bit of space compared to earlier. Not much, but a little.
And Bradbury did not overcome the pit delta from Gar, but he's under 2 seconds, so he gained about 2 seconds in the pit.
$20 left.
All right, man. Bonito is on the final lap.
Oh, they're going to have to do one more lap, too. Okay. I bet he was hoping that was over with. Those tires are getting long in the tooth now. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Clean lines through there. We got one more lap to do. We got Lejeune way out in front, followed by this battle with Enderez, Matthews, and Davies. Gar 10 seconds behind. And then Bradbury, Holbert, Cross, Hall, Arjitsu, Curto, Cooper, Darren Bradbury, Bellers, and Sartena. You couldn't have scripted this race better.
Absolutely not.
And we got another lapped car coming up, which is potentially going to be troublesome for all here. Let's see.
Noon headed around the curves, and then he's going to be headed toward victory.
All right, let's check in with him real quick. And there he goes.
There he goes.
And he spins out and has a crash. All right.
Woo!
Back on board with Matthews. He's got to hold on for 5 more corners.
Still right on the heels of Indurez.
And Enderez is behind that GT4, who's looking to try to get in front of here, which he does. Who's Cross. Shouldn't make any trouble for Matthews, as they have a similar cornering speed here.
It does seem to be helping Indurez play a little defense.
It does. And there's Enderez, Matthews, and Davies. So there's your top 3. Leon, Enderez, Matthews, followed by Davies, Gar, Bradbury, Holbert, Cross, Hall, Arjitsu, Curto, Bradbury, Cooper, Bellers, and Sartena.
We had some fireworks going, folks.
Yes, we did. And that is it from us today. I am going to go ahead and load up the replay, and we'll play that for a bit. Thanks for joining us, Trey Boy.
And, yeah, thanks for joining us. And that was a lot of fun, and that was a great race to watch, and I can't wait for the next series.
Green light. Go, go, go.